Yo, what's up guys, it's Varxo here. Today I'm bringing my first video for Survival District, and today it's the Grief Farm Survival Guide. So basically I'm going to start off in the lobby just to show you we're playing with this game. They aren't that bad, they're reasonably skilled players, so it wasn't that much of an easy win. And we do win the game, 0 downs, quite a fair amount of kills, so you can see that this method does work. So after the loading screen's finished, what you want to do, if you haven't already, is just mute all the enemies. But I already have seen, so in the lobby I just pressed the X and then mute all players which aren't in your party. You just do that, as you can see. Then what you want to do is, for the first few rounds, you don't really need to rush and buy a gun. You can if you want. The Olympia is the only one you can buy off the wall straight away in this map, so it's a good gun to use. Like, it's powerful, it'll kill zombies in high rounds, especially upgraded. Sadly you can't upgrade guns on this map, but if you could, then it would be a very good gun to buy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly fast forward through to round, I reckon, about 6, because if you can't do the first sort of 1 to 6 rounds, then you should probably go and play solo zombies a bit more, or survival, where you don't have people compete with you on the enemy team, and basically just learn how to play the game a bit easier. Right, so when you're at this round, what you want to do is you want to run towards the house, and then you want to open the door. It doesn't matter, you don't need to be selfish about points. Then you want to buy the MP5 off the wall straight away, because people are like, oh, I don't want to spend my points to open the door, someone will open it eventually. But within that time, even if someone does open it, which a lot of the time they don't, there's a risk of you getting downed. I'd rather spend 750 points to confirm my survival. I can get the MP5. As long as you have 1,750 points, you should be fine. Basically, in this map, there isn't really that many spots you want to camp in, because they're all sort of volatile and dangerous. In the house, in the main sort of farmhouse, you've got windows in the bottom, you've got doors in the bottom. Then upstairs you have a window, then the zombies can jump up from the lower level onto the balcony, they can down you from behind. And then also when you're getting a weapon or something like that, they can jump up, knock you out the way, either down you, and then you'll lose your weapon. Also, one sort of downside you've got is inside of the house you can get trolled a lot by the enemy team, and that will get you down a lot easier, which it's irritating. And that is the point in Grief. You want to try and irritate the enemy team, because when you irritate them, it sort of makes them play erratically, makes them make stupid decisions, and then from there they get down because they don't play correctly, they don't play how they normally would. And that's a good way of winning Grief, is just to irritate your enemy team. As you can see, I'm sort of saving up the points. I'm going to try and buy Juggernaut. It's 2,500. It's the best perk you can get. And then you can see here on the video, I'm sort of getting trolled. I'm not being allowed access to this higher room. It doesn't really bother me, but as you can see here, I'm just knifing the guy laid on the floor. He's the harder target to move. It'll take a long time to knife him out of the way. But basically from here, you don't really want to stay around too long, especially on higher rounds, because they can just easily let a zombie come up from behind you. They'll down you, the zombie will end up hitting you, down you, then they'll kill it. So if there's people blocking the way, just run back down the stairs, because eventually, because they're not paying attention to behind them, they're paying attention to the front, they're trying to stop people from coming up, they will get down from this window here or by the balcony. So just give it a bit of time and you'll eventually get it. If push comes to shove, you could always just buy the Olympia, you could train the zombies and eventually take them out. Just make sure you don't die. It isn't a vital part of the game to get into this room. Many people think it is, and that is a major reason as to why a lot of people get downed frequently. As you can see, I'm just sat in this far corner, sorry. The reason for this is that I can see basically every entrance within my POV, and there's this entrance here which I can launch an RPG into. Then I can see that entrance to my left, and then with a slight flick of the stick I can see the entrance to my right. But most of the time, either the enemy or another friendly player will end up shooting the zombies coming from that direction, and from here, this is possibly one of the best places to camp if you want to camp. The thing with farm is that it isn't really a camp friendly map. The thing about that is because zombies can spawn everywhere. There's the bottom where the gate is on transit. If you get off at farm at that location there where the gate is, zombies can spawn in the ground right next to you. That's a very bad place to sit. Then over there, there's 2 windows which can pin you into a corner. In the barn, it's just the barn. Unless you're upstairs and you've got enemies covering other directions, it's a very bad place to camp, especially in the lower sections, because it's very close quarter. There's a lot of sharp turns. Zombies can pop out of anywhere, and you can also get trapped. You can get trolled by the enemy team, and then from there you can get down like a lot easier. And the major benefit about this room up here is that usually there's a lot of people in this room, so you're not really going to get downed as easy, and you have sort of like a view at the outside. So when you're looking from above here, especially if you've got something like the RPG like myself, you can sort of launch one of the sort of rockets towards a big horde. You can kill the horde off, but then you can also steal kills, and you can hit the enemy team with it, and then you'll be able to nick their kills. But also if you hit them, then it will slow them down, especially if they're being trained. If you have sleight of hand, you can keep on hammering them with rockets, and then eventually they will go down, because they'll be so slow and they'll be getting so down so constantly, then the zombies will just catch up to them and maul them. So that is one of the main reasons why you want to camp in the top of the house, is just because of that. You can see here, again, it's the same similar concept. I'm above everything, I'm above everyone, apart from the zombies which spawn up here. And I can use the RPG as my advantage, sort of long range sort of encounters, that, and especially if the enemies are running around there, because it's a close quarter sort of battle zone, I can sort of kill the enemies as well as zombies at the same time, because I can slow the enemy down, which will get them down by the zombies because they'll be slowed down. And again, as I said before, it's the same exact as that little hole in the side of this room here. It's the same sort of concept. As you can see there, I ran upstairs and I bought Juggernaut. The reason for this is if you don't have Juggernaut, it's going to make it very hard for you to survive. The sooner you can get Juggernaut, the better. If you have Juggernaut and MP5, you have a very good sort of base starting for the game ahead, especially if it goes into high rounds, like rounds 20s. So I think we have got to around 26 before, in a battle of grief, because the enemy players were very skilled, but in the end we did win. So if you do have Juggernaut and the MP5, then you've got a very good starting sort of position, whereas a lot of people waste 950 points on the box, and then they'll get another 950, they'll go on the box, because it is gambling. It's addictive, like, oh, maybe this time I can get the hammer, sorry, if it's what it's called, or I'll get the RPD, or I'll get whatever gun they want. And basically, fair enough, you can do that as soon as you've got the correct weapons, which will keep you alive if you don't get them guns. Because if you don't get them guns, you might get the ballistic knives, you might get the executioner, the revolver shotgun. That's fair enough, it's powerful, but it takes a long time to reload, and it only has 5 shots in the sort of cylinder, so it's a very bad gun. So what you want to do is get the MP5, you want to get Juggernaut, and whatever other perks you want. Personally, my favourite on town is Juggernaut, Sleight of Hand, Double Tap, and Stamina Up. You can see soon I do buy Quick Revive. That's because on farm there isn't as many perks. I think there's only the 4 original perks: the Sleight of Hand, the Juggernaut, Quick Revive, and Double Tap. And the reason for this is that on farm, unlike town, it's more of a team sort of orientated map, because it is harder to survive. There's like more people going down. As you can see there, another person just went down. Then more people go down. So if you have Quick Revive, you'll be able to get them up and keep the game going on your side for longer. Especially if, say, Zorrel went down, I'd have a high chance of reviving him, which could keep the game going. Say he has good guns, they could keep me, and not only me but him, alive as well. And then from there it'll just sort of help the game along. It's only 1,500 perk anyway, so you may as well. As you can see there, as I've been doing the whole entire game, what you want to try and do is when you chuck grenades out the map, just don't chuck them out. You want to try and make them hit off something. So on this window to my right here, there's a big cliff sort of behind it. You want to try and hit the grenade off of there, and then it'll bounce back towards you. But if there's any zombies stood around the barrier, it'll be right under their feet. So it's sort of like a perfect chance to kill the enemies. You can see the method I use with the RPG is I wait for the zombies to be in the map. I don't try, like, fair enough, sometimes if there's a horde outside and there's a chance of people nicking my kills, I'll shoot through the barrier. But what you want to try and do is you want to wait until the zombies have at least both of their legs through the window, and then you fire the RPG and it should kill them first time. You can see here that guy got the war machine. The bad thing about the war machine is that it fires grenades and they go everywhere, so I'd try and avoid that unless you can upgrade it right there and then. I'd avoid the war machine at all costs. Another thing with farm is when you get double points is you want to try and train the zombies outside, like around the vehicles. You can train them around there, especially if they have RPG. You can use the other tactic where you stand in that hole there and then you fire it down. You can kill big hordes, and then from there it'll sort of get you more points. If you hit them and turn them into crawlers, you get 40 points anyway, because you get the 10 points per hit doubled, and then minimum of 2 zombies in a horde. Then from there you can get more kills, you get more points. Again, it's sort of similar with the insta-kill. You want to try and do the same, because the more zombies you can take out, which means the more points for you, the more kills for you, and it'll sort of keep you alive. Don't bother wasting the chance to use insta-kill or double points, because any power-up helps on this. Apart from the sort of hammer, the I can't remember what it's called, can't remember what it screams out, but it's like the repair, sort of the window repair, the carpenter, sorry. You want to avoid them in every single game mode, because if you pick up them, then you have a lower chance of getting the max ammos. And this is being proved in a lot of videos, and it's actually been proved to us. Like, we went online, every single hammer we saw, we just avoided it, and then within about half a round to 2 rounds maximum, sorry, we would get a max ammo, and we were getting more max ammos per game than what we normally did. Unless this might have been an update and it's just so happens that it worked out for us, but in my opinion I think it works. Right here you can see that tactic I said before is what I did there is what they were trying to do. They were blocking the door and hoping a zombie would come up behind me and then down me. That's what I did there. Instead of killing him straight away, I knew for a fact he was going to go and hit him, and then from there he could have easily sort of go down, and then I could kill the zombie, get the points, and then he'd be down. Sadly, that person laid down, knew to lie down, so managed to get him up. But again, you can see there, that was proof that that method actually works. The benefit about the 5.7s you can see on the screen at the moment is that they are very powerful for pistols, and you can rapid fire them because they are akimbo weapons. They have a very fast fire rate anyway, and then if you rapid fire them, you can take a massive horde out within a few shots. And the benefit is, if you do have a massive horde chasing you, turn around, because it's a larger spread sort of radius, then it's easy to kill the zombies. You can take out massive hordes with just 2 magazines, like 1 magazine from each pistol. You can see there that there's a banister sort of railing on the side of this balcony. If you jump onto there from the balcony that you drop down from, then you don't take any fall damage, which is very beneficial, because there's been times when I've dropped out, I've taken damage from the fall, and then it'll be straight into the lava pit, which gets me downed. It's irritating, and it's so hard to get people back up, because it'll be usually a massive horde, and if not, then the enemy team will be like sort of holding you back. They'll be trying to stop you from killing, not killing them, trying to revive your teammates. But then there's been times when I've also jumped down, taking damage, and then instantly being hit by a zombie, and that gets you down. So that's just a word of advice with that. As you can see here, we've got the double points. So the benefit about the double points at the moment is that I've got the 5.7s. most bullets with the 5.7s actually hit the zombies, so the benefit about this is that you get a definite hit, and then you get more points as well because of the double points. The MP5 is also a good gun to use with the double points because it's just fully automatic. So machine guns, zombies, it does kill them quickly, but you will get a lot of before, like sort of pre-kill points at the same time. Then with the horde at the end, if you're the last alive, what you want to try and do is you want to try and train them all around the sort of map and then lead them down in that bottom gate area. Because as soon as the maximum number of zombies have spawned in the map, then they won't spawn beneath you, they won't spawn behind you as soon as you take that entire horde out. Which is very beneficial because they're all grouped in one direction, and especially if you have two players there, like you saw me and Zorro, there's two sort of players taking out the whole entire horde of zombies chasing after you, and from there you can survive easier and longer and then kill off more zombies quicker. You saw there I dropped down and hit the barrier, like the sort of banister railing, and you saw that I took no damage. That was just a demonstration from before. Right, so I believe this is the last zombie jumping up now, and this is the end of the game right now. As you can see, we won that. We had 0 downs each, we had a fair amount of kills, and the enemy team, they left because they were angry, and we won. And personally, in my opinion, that was a very good victory. So I hope this guide helps you, and we'll see you next time, guys.